Hey guys, welcome this week to Studio Hot Rods Restoration Revelations. My name's Harry and I build the coolest hot rods on the planet, and I'm an inventor by trade. I actually hold over 38 different patents, but this week I'm gonna have some fun showing you guys exactly how you go from idea to prototype to concept to development and production. I went from the original console, and then I was like, I like the original look of it, but I want to have some cup holders. Went to version 2, now we're at version 3. Reverse camera, navigation, audio interface. It is so cool. It's gonna be a great week. If you haven't followed or subscribed yet to the channel, you're not gonna wanna miss it, man. I'll see you guys on the other side. Let's get rolling, get inventing. So here's a challenge. Here's a 1969 Camaro that has an integrated screen and a waterfall console. I am just not a fan. The size of the cup holders really won't hold much, and the way it takes up the space in the compartment, I just can't stand. It looks like brand new technology in an old car. My goal was to make it feel like if they had backup cameras and navigation in 1970, how would the engineers at GM actually done it? I don't think they would have done it like that. Come on, let's go take a look at the prototype of my #1 car and show you what I tried to do. Didn't quite work out perfect, but it was pretty good. It got me closer. Here is the original prototype car that I built the console for. Innovation, like this. Speaking of innovative, look at this. This is how the windows go up and down. That's made by New Relics, although I innovated a plate that goes in here to make it better. Anyways, lots of times I take the old products and I put new innovation into it. In the car itself, we've got the original console that I cut, put the cup holders in, I put the lighted in it where you can change the color. I thought that was cool. And I put it in a position that was working really well with where the seat was located. Now, the next challenge I had was, where do I put the screen? I decided on this version to go ahead and put the screen right into the dash with a head unit over the top of it. It's cool, it looks good, it's decent. However, it wasn't my final version. I did about 4 more prototypes, and they're all sitting over there, and I came up with what I call the ultimate console for an A-body car. I'm going to show you how we print it, how we make it, how we put it together. It's really cool. I ended up with this one. I call it the Wave, and I'll show you why. Hey guys, let me give you a tip. The first thing I do after I come up with a crazy idea is I search the web to see if somebody else has actually done it already. You'll be surprised. A lot of times it's already been done. Been there, done that. Don't chase that stuff. Let somebody else be innovative. But if you got something that's unique and cool and original, then you go for it. This part is the part of the Wave, and it actually goes right here, and we're going to cut one of these consoles, and I'll show you how that's going to go, and then I'm going to attach this. I just have to do one more modifications. Oh, look, there's Kyle. Right now we are scanning the pump that actually feeds the LT4 intercooler, and what we're doing is the bracket that holds it, which is right under here. I don't want to get the scan right there. Don't get my fingers. Ha, right there. That bracket is something we put on all the cars. So if we're going to make a part repetitively, we'll make it once, we'll prototype it, then we'll scan it, and then it's a lot faster or easier. So we can either print it with a 3D printer, or we can actually have an outsourced company like a company called Oshcut. Lots of guys, you know who that is. Anyways, let's get to work on making the finished version. Oh, by the way, Kyle, can you print me out one without this?
Yeah.
I think it's the only change I got for you. And what about these print lines?
Can't do much about that, but we were talking about finishing that.
With heat or whatever.
Sanding.
Okay. All right. Would you print one, please?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Those are our 3D printers. We're printing a bunch of other stuff, but I do want it to go on the final version. So this won't be the final version that I'm going to build for you guys, special, just for you. All right, kids, let's start that disassembly process. I take that OEM console that's brand new that we buy from a manufacturer that ships it to us. Actually, we just bought 27 of them this week. We're going to have to cut the end off of it and file it off, make it super clean and straight, make your nails pretty. Don't forget, kids. Anyways, because it's a hand model job now, we got to cut that front end off of it, and then that 3D printed part that we have that we made for it is exactly sized to actually fit that thing. So how you cut it, where you cut it, has got to be jigged up, and it's not going to be put together like this when we're building them in mass quantities. However, this is our prototype. So we've got a couple hands working together, holding it in place, a couple screws to make sure it's perfectly straight and clean, a little extra goop in there, and that's that 3M quick healing epoxy, right? So we'll take that thing apart, and then we'll do a little bit of final prep work on it, smooth it off, clean it off. If you notice, we're not putting any filler on there. We were able to do it with the epoxy cleaner. Now we're gonna go ahead, get it to the paint booth, and shoot it with a couple different layers. If you notice, that layer right there is a heavy layer, and that wasn't what I was looking for, but what it was is it was building a base for a fine coat over the top. Again, I'm looking for that OEM transition. I want that thing to feel like General Motors produced it. Oh yeah. Guys, let's check it out and see how it turned out. Wow. Wow. That's pretty spectacular. Sometimes you just got to be creative. Let's put it together. See how this bad boy looks. Yeah, so here we are. I feel like a kid at Christmas. I got to make a couple little modifications to this bad boy. Let me just get that going. Got to cut those bad boys off because that is where the cup holder assembly is going to go. I'm just going to double check the fit here because this bad boy has got to fit just, oh, look at it. Sweet. Melissa, how nice is this going to be? All right. Always check your work as you're going along, kids. Let's go ahead and pop this out of here. Now, here's something I did that was a little bit different. Being creative, off me. Being creative, I didn't want to shoot this piece. The reason I didn't is I wanted a little bit of a texture difference between the door assembly, right? And the unit. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, dang. I knew that was going to look good. Why, it's like little details, little tiny details make big differences. And that's what I am focused on when I build this stuff. It's like, I want this thing to just look immaculate. Let me put these screws in. I'll be right back. Everybody's got to have a rubber snubber. Look at that. Let's see. Woohoo! Man, is this thing looking beautiful. Let's prep up the front. Here's something that's kind of cool. What we did with this bad boy is we actually designed it to work with the integrated screen mount that was on this device right here. It's pretty cool, pretty slick. So this bad boy goes on the back of this one. Did you hear it snap? And then this, we set it up with the screw and our interface that we printed to go right into that slot there. Ah! Look, my screen's in upside down. Who'd have thunk? But look at what an easy switch it is. Pay attention, kids. It's cool, it's got the swivel joint in the back of it, right? Okay, so what we gotta do is get that bad boy in its slot. All right, I got that thing threaded in there. What's cool about that is it's going to give us the ability to put the screen in any kind of position we want when it's inside the car. Because again, I'm so utilitarian, meaning like where you sit in the car, you're comfortable, you can actually reach the different components. Because when I have an idea for a product, it's not just about a cool look. I want it to actually function really well for the customer. The reason I put the seats in the position I put them in is because it's comfortable. I'm not trying to ramble. What I'm trying to tell you is like, there's a lot of thought that goes in every bit of this process. And it's really pretty darn slick. And if you notice, I measured and cut first. This bad boy, look how simple this is starting to come together. Oh, look at that. All right, kids, we are really close to doing some final assembly on this bad boy. I'm gonna light it up one more time just to make sure that I didn't mess anything up before I actually put it in the car. Is that slick or what? Check it out. Version 1, and we have version 2. I don't know. Which looks like it came out of the factory more. All right, I'm gonna light this bad boy up, stick it in the car, and then go on to the next project. All right, powered it up. It looks gorgeous. This head unit will now run the remote amp and speaker in the back of the car. And it's not for sale yet. I am gonna make these for sale because I'm gonna couple it with the speakers and the amplifier and the boom box in the back, but that's a later date. For now, I'm just building them for my customers' cars. But this one right here is a completely assembled brand new whole thing. If you want it, you got stick shift or an automatic, I've got them made, done, and they're beautiful. Let me show you real quick, just real fast, what it takes to actually make one of those. This is how it works. I buy these brand new plates, right? And then we chuck them up in the mill and we cut them. In the meanwhile, I got my 3D printers running. Let me show you what that looks like. A lot of components that actually go into the cup holder. I know it doesn't sound that sophisticated, but it actually takes a lot of thought, and you got to build the things piece by piece. This is a 3D printer, and these basically come out of here. They hold the stainless steel cups, lighted or non-lighted, right? And you would think we're done at that point in time, but we're actually not. What we do is we actually put them together in here, and that's the 3D printed part below it, that's the cup. But then we actually print what I call light shades or lamp shades. Open sesame. We slide these bad boys into the lighted cup area because I want to be able to dim the lights. You don't want to be like, you know, having the really bright lights. So every detail of what it takes to actually make this thing unique and creative and different is pretty much what we're going to do. Let's go put the final unit in my mock-up Grey Ghost Chevelle and just see how she looks, make sure it fits under the dash, final, and then we're gonna get rolling on to something else, kind of cool. Okay guys, we're really close. What I've learned is setting this in here, it has to come down farther because our tunnel is a little bit wider. So it's not quite sitting down all the way, and I kind of knew that was gonna happen anyways, but to give you the overall look and concept, pretty excited about how she's coming together. So again, this will sit down a little bit lower. See how there's a bigger gap here? And this mounts to our plate up front. But anyways, if you got a stock car, it should go in there as well. This has just been modified because my tunnels are bigger to accommodate the 6L80E transmission. Guys, you can see that I am really close with my prototype. Chad, you are gonna love your car. This thing, it looks like it came from the factory. That was my goal, right? Speaking of my goal, I've been 3D printing cool parts for a long time ago. In 2008, I printed my own iPhone holder for my Harley. I just brought a toy back up front, and I'm gonna start printing some other parts too. It's gonna be really fun. Come on, let's go check that thing out before we get out of here. I love this place. If you think that was fun building the console, wait till you see what I'm gonna do to the toy that I brought home. I've been doing this forever. Come on, let me show you what I brought back from way up north. So this is a side-by-side. I'm gonna pull it down. I'll show it to you when we get it in the building. If I can get in, I know the plug's right here somewhere. It's dark in here. This is gonna be fun. I've been putting in electronics and cool stuff, motorcycles, snowmobiles, my whole life. This bad boy belongs in a hot rod shop. You wait till you see what I'm gonna do to it. It's gonna be fun. And the innovations don't stop. I'm gonna have some fun, film some cool stuff for this just because I can, right? 3D printers, a little bit of innovation, be creative. Speak about being creative and innovative. Let's go to the Word of God because that is the best. Hi guys, my favorite part of the episode is always at the end where I get to actually share the good word. And what I want to do is encourage you guys to get to know this book. This is the best instructions before leaving Earth, Bible. Anyways, we're gonna touch on a little snippet out of each one of the books in the Bible. There's 66 books in the Bible. Boy, this is gonna be a long church service today. No, what I want to do is tell you a little bit about the beginning. The first book in the Bible is Genesis. It says God created the heavens, the earth, everything. He said he is the total control and he set up the world for us to live in. I believe that to be true. And that's all in Genesis 1 and everything else. And it goes on in Genesis 3, which is very interesting to me. Genesis 2, where it's all about Adam and Eve. You guys have heard God created Adam and Eve. You know, we were created in his likeness. Side note, everybody that's on YouTube that calls themselves a creator, they're not creators, they're creative. Just like me, being creative with the Chevelles. But anyways, what I wanted to read to you is Genesis 3. Be patient with me. I'm a car builder, for gosh sakes. Anyways, Genesis 3. This is like, they call it the fall of man, right? Now the serpent was more crafty than any other animals than the Lord had made. He said to the woman, "Did God really say to you, you must not eat from the tree in the garden?" The woman said to the serpent, we may eat of all the trees in the garden, but God did say, you must not eat of the tree in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch it or you will die. You will surely not die, the serpent said to the woman, for God knows that when you eat, your eyes will be open and you'll be like God, knowing good and evil. When the woman saw that the fruit on the tree was good and pleasing to her eye and desirable in gaining wisdom, she took it and ate it. She also gave some to her husband who was also with her. Then their eyes were both opened and they realized they were naked. So they sewed some fig leaves together and made coverings for themselves. I'm almost done, kids. Stick with me for a second. In the garden of the cool of the day, they hid. They heard the Lord among the trees in the garden, but the Lord called to him, "Where are you?" He answered, "I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." And he said, "Who told you you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree that I commanded you not to eat from?" The man said, "Well, the woman put it in front of me. She gave me some fruit of the tree and I ate it." Then God said to the woman, "What have you done?" the woman said. "To the serpent deceived me, and I ate it." So the God said to the serpent, "Because you have done this, cursed are you above all the livestock and all the wild animals, and all will crawl on the belly and eat the dust all the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between the offspring and hers, and I will crush your head with the strike of my heel." To the woman he said, "They will greatly increase your childbirth and birth pain, Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you." And to Adam, he said, "Because you have listened to your wife and ate from the tree, which I commanded you not to do, he cursed the ground because of you. So you will painfully toil and eat of it all the days of your life. And you will produce thorns and thistles for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your brow, you will eat the food until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken. For dust you are, and dust you will return." What's really wild about that is at the end of it, God said to them, he kicked them out of the Garden of Eden because they sinned against him, and they turned against him because they wanted to be like a creator, right? Rather than be created. But the Lord made garments for them of skin, and his wife, and clothed them. And God said to the man, "He will now become one of us, knowing both good and evil. He must not be allowed to reach his hand to take from the tree of life and live forever." So the Lord God banished him from the Garden of Eden to work for the ground that he had been taken. After he drove them out, he placed them on the east side of the Garden of Eden in a cherub, which is an angel, and a flaming sword was flashing back and forth, and not let them back in. My point in that whole thing to us is, even though you have a problem in your life and there's an issue and you sin against God or you do something that's wrong, God didn't leave them. He actually made them close, and he kicked them out of the garden. But when he kicked them out of the garden, you'll see that these stories and the things that are in the Bible, the account of the things that are in the Bible are actually great, because you may leave God, but he never leaves you. Anyways, that's my Genesis capture of the beginning of this year. We're going to kind of talk about all 66 books this year. That's our quick Bible study, and that was not quick. It's kind of long. I hope you got the point. Is God loves you. He has a plan for your life, and even when you mess up, he will go with you. All right, guys, have a good week. Be creative. You're not a creator, and I'm having fun doing what I do, and I'm being blessed. Like, subscribe, follow along. If you dig it, send me a message. Let me know what I'm missing. I'm missing a lot. All right, peace out. See you next week.